Hi, it's me, Nora V here, and today is the day that Tactics Ogre Reborn has been released. Hooray! And boy, I was so ready to get it too. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. Because of course, last time I played Tactics Ogre was on the PSP actually, and that was like a decade ago. But I quit playing because I found it too tedious. But that wasn't my first time. My first time was over 20 years ago. I want to say early 2000s, but it may actually have been 1999, early 2000s, around that. So that's lots. That is many years ago in a galaxy far away. And now it's been revealed that I'm old. As a Reborn, yes, I'm happy to see it, but it's $50. I don't recall ever touching the Super Nintendo version. I do recall touching the PlayStation version, and the PlayStation version was like, it was $50, if I recall correctly. I'd say at least 40, at most 50. The PSP version, I believe, was about $30 to $40, if I recall correctly. So the remake, the Reborn, remastered, whatever it is the same price. And on Steam, there's a big kerfluffle over this. Some people are like, stop being poor. But you see, I have the money, but I'm like, $50? I think most people are going to wait for a sale, and that's exactly what I'm going to end up doing. With that being said, I still have my game diary of Tactics Ogre. Yep, still have it. And here's the thing, and I never wanted to admit it when I was younger, but I'm going to go ahead and admit it now. When you get older, your perspective changes in a lot of ways, whether you like it or not. So I'm going to read this diary. I'm just going to comment on it, treat it like notes. But I'm going to be wondering, like, once I finally play Reborn, will my perspective be the same now as it is then? And I suspect it won't be, because a lot of it's like, again, it's translation is an issue. Because sometimes the translation will say one thing, but the original text will say, no, we didn't say that. That can be a thing. So, I have my right in front of me. This does have some stories included that I will never forget. A terrible mistake that, had it not been for Game Facts, I would have never completed Tactics Ogre, but that's one thing you're going to learn about. You're going to learn about the 100 floor dungeon. And thanks to that castle, I became so powerful that the final stages were nothing. So you learn about that too, or at least some of it. So, it's dated June 11th. I didn't say a year, but I think it was like late 90s, early 2000s. Tactics Ogre, I'm trying to think. I either bought it myself or it was a gift. Either way, years later, I ended up reselling it for $88, which is cool. And and it was basically a stroke of luck. You know, because originally it was $72, and the previous buyer didn't pay it, and that's annoying. And the second time around, it's $88, so yeah, it was one of those games. So anyway, on June 11th, this happened after playing Breath of Fire 3. I finally got Tactics Ogre. Joy! At the time, I'd said I believe it may be better than Final Fantasy Tactics. Well, it certainly looks more in-depth and innovative. Well, I don't believe that now. I remember, this is the PSX version, not Reborn, just in case you need the reminder. You probably don't. But I do feel like Final Fantasy Tactics had far better music, I can tell you that. And I did play the PSP version of Tactics as well, and here's the difference. Final Fantasy Tactics, I completed the PSP version. I did not complete Tactics Ogre. So while Tactics Ogre could be more innovative, I felt like at the time it was a bit more tedious. And that was a problem, unfortunately. As for more in-depth, yeah, I think that is true, because I think like you get more of like various perspectives, whereas in Final Fantasy Tactics it was a bit more limited. So anyway, you actually get to choose more than a B-Day. You answer questions that determine who your god will be. Since these gods are actually characters, this should certainly be more interesting than the horoscope used in Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, that I believe, yeah. Yeah, I believe that even now. Yeah, that hasn't changed. Seems darker too. It is, but the basic story is much the same stuff I've seen before. Only all the main characters are being oppressed, like how Papa being oppressed. Also, there's more than one ending, and each choice brings a different scenario. Yeah, you don't really see this in Final Fantasy Tactics. So anyway, talking about replay value. Yeah, that's very true. Like, if you can get past the issues Tactics Ogre had, yeah, it definitely, it definitely had the replay value. But, let's see. In my case, though, like, I got the golden ending, and I might have replayed it once, and that's that, but that's not the point. I wish Final Fantasy Tactics had the same options. It doesn't, so Tactics Ogre may have some edges over Final Fantasy Tactics. If Final Fantasy Tactics had multiple endings, then it would truly be very interesting, and that's putting it mildly, and yeah, that is something I believe to this day. Yeah, that hasn't changed. June 12th. The individual gods certainly ask bizarre questions. I chose the wind goddess, prayer, hope, offering, honor, vow, ideal, whatever that is. He's like, don't I sound like a giddy? Well, you don't necessarily stay that way. Well, at first the battles were easy, but then became increasingly difficult. Training became fun. Now it ceases being that. It starts getting really tedious. I remember, like, what I'd do is I would send like a couple of higher level characters and have the lower level attack, and that's how they gain levels, but it's really tedious. Graphics are very well detailed. They're even better now. No, let's see, I claimed that they were more so than Final Fantasy Tactics and more realistic looking than Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, I do think that Tactics Ogre did have an edge in graphics. I do believe that. I still do now. Tactics Ogre system is very similar, but it takes just as much getting used to. Yeah, very true. It's also similar to Vandal Hearts, where you can block and counterattack without having it as a job skill. Yes, I don't know if that's changed in Reborn. Characterization is similar, only Tactics Ogre has many more people to work with. You can have 30, whereas Final Fantasy Tactics allows only 16, and that includes the guest. Tactics Ogre doesn't often include the guest. In fact, they didn't at all. The music, yeah, I stand by Final Fantasy Tactics having far better music, but Ogre has better sound effects. Yeah, I don't think that's changed. It's also like, oh, that's the other thing, the story, like, at the moment it's easier to follow. Yeah, I don't think that's changed either. At the time, Tactics Ogre was an Atlas game, so I do expect it to be much darker. Now that it's with Square Enix, I don't think that's going to change, though. I don't think it's going to be lightened up. I don't think so. I don't think the PSP version was. I don't know. It's like currently training my rear off. I was training for more XP so I could take on a necromancer at K-City. So the events at the time, I don't recall the K-City name, but I know that, like, you can't just like go into like the battles and gain levels that way. It's just hard. Dude, so you had to just train and train and train. I hope they get rid of that. But anyway, let's see, events at the time. I named the main character Zome. It has no like specific meaning. I just like the sound of it, and it's based on an actual Chinese word that could be very ill-omened, but this particular version it's not. But he's also known as Mezi or Denim. Sometimes I will keep the name of Denim. Kachua is his older sister, and Vice is his friend. I planned to fight the Dark Knights, and at the time my impression of Kachua is that she's such a pessimist. Aww. Yeah, she's a pessimist, but I never had anything against her, though. Like, she's just, like, she's human, you know? So, at any rate, they fight a group of men that were thought to be Dark Knights, only these men claimed to be fugitives and happened to have a man named Lance in the party. Lance is the leader of the Dark Knights. You see Lance quite a few times. There's actually a prequel of Tactics Ogre where Lance was someone else. I think Richter, but it kind of shows their story. But I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Tactics Ogre, and I think it's not really remembered in the community unless you're a diehard fan. So anyway, this Lance says that they were just mercenaries exiled from Zenobia. Yeah, I didn't believe it. Well, Zome has two choices: believe them, or say that they are lying. I chose to believe them as I wanted manpower. I don't know what I'm gonna do in Reborn, but we'll see. Zome also chose for the men to join. They're worth it. Well, Kachua claims that she was nice to these men because she wanted to take advantage of them. Yeah, my respect gauge did go down a bit, but this is where the more I think about it, and it's been 20 years, the more I'm like, well, I can't say I blame her. Remember what my choice was and why I did it? Wanted manpower. That's what she was doing. So it's weird that I would lose respect for her over that. Like, what the hell? That was stupid. Well, anyway, Vice said, and I quote, "You're a priestess taking advantage of people. What a bitch!" And at the time I was like, whoa, gotta love Vice. And no, Vice. Shut up. She was just being pragmatic. You know, sometimes you have to be nice to people because you might need them later. It was a smart move on her part. But then she says, like, I didn't want to lose anyone. Now that's, you know, of course now it's certainly understandable, but unfortunately it can happen anyway. And at the time I had said, well, that certainly doesn't excuse taking advantage of people. I don't think that's what she was doing. It's like, I don't think so. I think that she needed the manpower, and they could be helpful. You know, what's wrong with that? And I did say that these men are mercenaries and are quite powerful, so it wouldn't be so easy to lose any and much easier to win. That's what mercenaries are for. Like, it's all forgivable but not condonable, as no one should be taken advantage of. Well, yes, like, that's true, but now that I think of it, that's not what she was really doing. Like, she was trying to foster goodwill, so they helped her in the group. She really didn't do anything wrong here. It's like, but were they real jerks? Like, like, whatever the case, it's like, I don't blame her for doing that. And like I said, I would have done the same thing. It's like, I wasn't too angry though. Like, I wasn't at all. But I think like Vice might just be one of those people who's quick to just, oh my god, that's so wrong, when if you at least rub two brain cells together, you'll find that it's not really. Yes, I think she did the right thing. It's like, and she wasn't taking advantage of anyone. Rather, she was just trying to get manpower. Nothing wrong with that. And they're mercenaries. Anyway, rescued a guy named Duke Ronway. Said to be a trap, and Ronway was bait. Well, we've saved him anyway. He made us knights, and I named them the Songlian. Because that's actually like a that's actually based on a movie I saw, and I'm like, so I'm gonna call them Songlian. So anyway, Leonard, like some knight, must be pretty good, needed help against a necromancer, currently preparing to fight the necromancer. Sounds dreadful, and it is. Trying to think if this is the same necromancer that went into that massive 100-floor castle. I'm not sure. I said I lost an Amazon named Philia to a wizard, an archer, and a swordsman, and that sucks. And so, in a battle against Loda, a disciple of Nebas, the necromancer. Yeah, I think this is the same guy. I lost a soldier, I've lost soldiers, lost this, lost that. Damn. But I did get 3 new people, an archer, a cleric, and a knight, Joy. And then lost June in a random battle. Damn. lost all the Amazons, and my dragon and a soldier. This is a lot of losses. You will be facing that in Tactics Ogre. You will lose a lot of people if you're not careful, and it sucks. So get more people and train. So, well, maybe not. I'm back to where I last saved. Yeah, I did this a lot, and you really need to be careful. Just, you'll see. So I lost at Rhyme Castle, so they're back. Must train some people this time. So, like, sometimes you can reload saves. You could do that. I don't know if it's going to apply in Reborn, but I could tell you that... please be careful about trying to load. Please. You'll see. So, anyway, sent by Ronway, whatever his name's gonna be, I don't know anymore, to sign the treaty with the Dark Knights to make sure they don't get involved. Once a treaty is signed, Ronway plans to attack Bakram, a realm of jerks, except for anti-government organization. I probably believe that even now. Ronway has something planned with Leonard. I hope it's for the Liberation Army and anti-Bakram people to unite. That would be cool, but I don't think that would happen. I mean, it would be cool if they united. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a time for unity, and this is one of them, but at the time I wasn't really optimistic, so... The Dark Knights agreed, but I didn't really believe that. I was kind of like, nah, smell a rat. But only because of certain members had similar experiences. I couldn't elaborate on that either. I don't remember, sorry. I just feel like with this Reborn, the story is going to be very different anyway, so I don't know what to think. Yeah, I really, really don't. So we were sent to a city where we free slaves, 5,000 of them. That's cool. Now, at the time, though, I forgot about Sistina, I believe is her name, who was part of the anti-Bakram government. Zome wanted her to join, but the others didn't. They called her a terrorist. I think she's cool. Hope I see her again soon as an ally. That would be cool. Got some new members, some monsters, and turns out my doubts were right. Zome senses that there's something wrong. Rumor has it that he's a secret messenger to Bakram for military support. Bad. Lost a knight. Lost. At least Lexington is dead. Got a dragon, soldier, gains and losses. Yeah, that does happen. I log all this, and I don't think that's changed. In Tactics Ogre, you're gonna win some, you lose some. So June 14th, well. Gamba sees one of his own Griffiths injured. And Griffins, they all retreat. I expect to see him again. I guess that's one of those, a story battle. I guess, like something like that. At least that's how I see it. So, next up, Duke. I can't believe you. Apparently Duke Ronway. I remember being shocked when I shouldn't have been. I don't know what's gonna happen now. Says he wanted the slaves to join, but he knew they would refuse, so he ordered Leonard to disguise the Liberation Army as Gargastans to kill the slaves. It would make the Gargastans look really bad, and others would likely revolt. Oh boy. I guess he figures that if the slaves refuse to fight, they are enemies to be killed. Something like that, and I was right. Duke figured that if the town were murdered by Gargastans, there would be revolution for sure. Now, in this case, you do make a decision, but Zome refused to kill innocent people. Vice turns on Zome. Vice believed that if these slaves aren't willing to fight, then they're better off dead. Well, yeah, I do believe that slavery is a fate worse than death. I could see that, and I feel like the slaves, like, what do you have to lose anyway? Your lives? What kind of lives? So I do think he wasn't entirely off on that, but at the same time, it's kind of skeevy. It's like, well, it could lead to revolt. Just, I guess there will be times you such choices have been made or were made, and he has to fight. I like to state for the record that it didn't matter what you chose. If you chose to kill the slaves, Vice is horrified and he says, really? Really though? And then he leaves and joins a different faction. If you choose not to fight, then Vice is like, no, you're wrong, like, I'm gonna fight against you, and they do, and so you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Yeah, imagine. Just, no wonder Vice was called Vice, I guess, but there is a fight, and of course you lose, you win some, you lose some. Oh, that's typical. Got Dietrich the Knight. So the Duke made Zome responsible for the massacre. He framed them. Now Zome is being hunted down just because he wouldn't kill innocent people. As for the second choice, like if you choose to kill the slaves, if I could just remember, that would be great. But I don't, because I suck. Got some other people. Then there was this woman named a loser. Let me just spell it out. A-L-O-S-E-R. A loser. I think like her real name is something like Alucen or something, but the way it was translated in the PSX version, oof, like, yuck. A loser, like what a name. So she was out to avenge her brother who died in the massacre. Zome is truly impressive as he tells her his story, and she is now a guest in the party. You can do that. You say the right things, and she's a guest. And yeah, I think you do end up getting her permanently if you make the right decisions. So yeah, I did. But she didn't make it to the end. You'll see why. But it wasn't because of the game. It was because of me. You'll see. End up fighting Vice. He set up a trap. Well, a loser is furious and joins the party. She is searching for Leonard, who was her lover. And I must train her. Yeah, I must train her. And we beat Garnashell without losing anyone. This was on June 15th. Joy met the Knight Fortis of the Valerian Liberation Front. Then we got some other people. Defeated those of the pirate. Lost people, win some. Apparently Celia is not the best of people. Apparently not. I don't remember. That's very unfortunate. June 15th, defeated a wizard named Dagon. He needed the bounty money to save his daughter's life. Zome didn't know that. And if he didn't know, how's he supposed to know? And apparently Celia is revealed to be full of it. I don't remember the full story because I didn't transcribe that. So all I could say is that she's full of it. If that story is still in Reborn, I don't think that changed. So her actions poison her ideals. She's just setting herself up for someone to get her back. That's possible. We got someone named Forcus. He is lawful. I guess order is better than a corrupt chaos, and Forcus is cool. Whatever. I don't, not sure, like, how I feel about that now. Defeated Zangan again, and he took Kachua to a castle, a Morica castle. The Dark Knights broke the treaty with the Runway. I hope this isn't playing into Celia's hands, but I think it might. I'm not sure though. Lost someone, won someone, you know, the usual here. Win some, lose some. Defeated Zapan. Vice kills him for failing. That's very nice, or you jerk, yeah. Zome easily defeats Vice and refuses to join Leonard and the Volsta army. I don't blame him. Leonard is a fool. Now everyone wants Zome dead because he refuses to sink to their level. Vice is such a victim, it's pathetic. What a blamer, and I remember being really pissy at that, yeah. The only things that Leonard said was true was there will always be war. That's it. Humanity is humanity, not puppets. Yeah, there's always going to be some kind of conflict. That's just the way life is. I still tend to believe that now, but it doesn't necessarily have to be war, but as of right now, it's war. It's just, but yeah, life has conflict. So anyway, not all Dark Knights are cool. We know. Defeated a bounty hunter named Ganon. Zome is really on the run now. Kachua does not like what he is doing. Vice is hatching a plan, of course, to kill Zome. Of course. Blah. So June 16th, Cheese defeated yet another bounty hunter, training for Cortani Castle. I'm sure they'll be fighting with Duke Ronway, defeated Zildon, supporter of Barbatos. Now Barbatos, if he's who I think he is, like I remember, like, he's pretty gutsy, even though he's not the best. So then has lost people, gained people again, recruited people, win some, lose some, you know the drill. June 17th, finally defeated Zarbos, oh, whatever. Phew, he's tough. And then Zarbos went to Briganti's castle. Kachua apparently left. Oh well, hell with her. At the time, Zome finds that he and Kachua were adopted. Okay. And then we got won some, lose some. That is how it is. And then fighting someone like Diodario. Finally defeated him. Defeated the jerk Zabos. That bastard. Compared Zome to Delita Hyro. What a jerk. The thing about Delita is that in the past, like, I had a lot of problems with him. But as time went on, I was informed of translation, which made Delita out to be worse than what he was. And he's one of those people where if you listen to what he has to say and those around him, he's really not that terrible. Like, he just kind of, it's like, yeah, he's really not. Like, Delita's actually very sympathetic, and it's a lot I've said about him that I wish I could take back. But yeah, I've had years, like, and then, but you gotta play War of the Lions, because Delita is presented properly in that game, so. But I do feel like comparing Zome to Delita, I don't know. Delita's smarter. Anyway, Zome has the balls the size of Texas, he does. He'd sooner die than be like Ronway or the Cardinal. He considers the true enemies to be those in power. Yeah, but it's also those who support them. I believe that even now. I don't think that perspective has changed. So, anyway, lost a guest sword master named Hyrion. Couldn't get to him in time, and he got into a fight with low HP. Oh well, he was being chased by Liberation Army, and I don't know why. I still don't. I was never able to save him. Blah. That's very frustrating. So, the Dark Knights will be betrayed by Ronway once he defeats Branta. However, the Dark Knights are not stupid. It won't be so easy, I'm sure. Does Ronway have no pride? I guess not. I don't know. I don't remember the scene because I'm dumb. Yeah, so anyway, defeated Irving, the Terror Knight at Cortani Castle. We'll probably fight either Leonard or Ronway himself, we'll see. Spoiler alert, it was Leonard. Defeat Leonard, he helps Zome by saying that the Duke has sold his soul. He finally admits that Zome was right. Zome must go with his sister and then to Rhyme to stop the Duke. Defeated Gnab, the Beast Tamer. We'll see him again, I'm sure. It turns out that Kachua is the daughter of the late King Dolgar and a servant, so she is a princess. Yeah, Bersalia Overis. She was raised by Plancy and Branta. Oh dear, another Ovelia. But at least Ovelia was a full princess. Also, Kachua is way more powerful, so. Plancy is imprisoned on Heim. Zome is Plancy's or Plany's true son. I'm willing to stake that Lance T will kill Branta and marry Kachua to become king. Ugh. So far, this one's much darker than Final Fantasy Tactics. And the story's better and easier to follow. I said that already. And I don't know what to think now, especially since like the remake of Final Fantasy Tactics was a bit more brushed up, so things look a little bit different. So that's good. But so I did talk more about the graphics. It's kind of the same things here, comparing Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Tactics, comparing the two. There's more of that. So we prepare for Rhyme. Jerko Ronway was in fact betrayed by Vice, and na. I thought that was funny as hell too. Couldn't have happened to a nicer person. Aww. Too bad. Yeah, not very nice, I imagine. And so, but it is commonplace, like considering many RPGs do that. That is how I see it. Like they do tend to, these things do happen. It's like, so, but he deserved it. I think he did. He betrayed innocent people. To me, it's fitting. Vice is also betraying Lance T, but it won't be so easy this time. Like, no doubt Vice wants all the power for himself. It would be awful if he had it. Gosh, everyone's wanting power. I guess, like, that's a thing. So anyway, June 19th, weird, got a red dragon in the party and lost both Leody and I've lost again, win and lost at Rhyme. At least Hylam is defeated. Vice gets whooped by Oz and I laughed at that. Lance spares his life. Though must have a purpose for this, yeah. Because I don't think that Lance would spare such a person unless he had good reason for it. I don't know. We shall see. So, Lance T does not want to see Vice again. Good. I don't blame him. I understood that. Dark Knights are against everyone. Like, we can see that. And, Clancy was kidnapped again. Zome is wonderful. He accepted soldiers who were once part of the Liberation Army. He would rather die than be like Ronway or Branta. Well, can't say I blame him, because they're both pretty shitty. So, fair enough. So, they are now preparing to attack Fidu Castle, Realm of the Dark Knights. Phew! And it's like, well, okay, the Dark Knights ravished Rhyme. Most of them are pretty cool, though, but still not all that good. We'll see what happens. Got Mildane and Gildas, friends of Canopus, and I was happy to see that. Joy. Zomi is now the leader of Southern Valeria. Cool. Better than Ronway, that's for sure. Got a fairy. Got some other people. Won some, lose some, as usual. It says, and attacked for Bodo, where the Liberation Army was at. Yeah, I think at this point, like, it's like Liberation Army, you gotta watch out for that. But anyway, it seems that Dark Knights are eliminating everyone. And then dismissed some, auctioned some, Trying to, like, what? Were these slaves? I don't know. I don't really remember that, to be honest. They were too low in level, and I didn't have the patience to train them at this time. I lost patience with that. Liberty got lucky. I was more patient then, but not now. Sorry, you two. Well, from now on, we use persuasion to recruit new members. Yeah, you get some pretty good members with persuasion. June 20th, defeated Oz at Fort Bodo. Zome is truly merciful. He asks Celia to join because he says that they share the same ideals. Well, it wouldn't hurt to have her. She's paid her debts. She claims to have rescued Clancy, and that's why the Dark Knights destroyed Fort Bodo. But like I said, Celia has paid for her actions, killing innocents for peace. Yes, she lost her whole army. It wouldn't hurt for her to join Zome. No. Okay. That worked out quite nicely. So, and then Mama Floa might not be dead, whoever that is. Defeated Beastier the Witch, a tough battle, and now in Fordu Castle. Got a bonus level. Defeated Oz and Ozma. Yes, was very happy. Kachua tries to kill Zome, but fails. And I found that very confusing. Wonder what was going on there. That's, Vice is executed for his actions. He begged to the end. He even cried for Zome. I remember that scene where he screamed, Zome! And then the alternate end version, I think, like he's simply killed in battle. But, Sid is sad, but it served him right. Ha ha ha. Lance T is not cool, no matter what he says. All he's really doing is causing more problems. Oppression only makes matters worse. Yeah. Everyone loves Zome now, and are amazed by him. No, he's a great person, so he deserves the praise. However, it hasn't stopped the moments supporting Kachua, or movements supporting her, yeah. Like, she's being used by Lance, count on it. Lance, the Holy Knight, however, is really cool. I admire his faith. So yeah, there's Lance H, and then there's Lance T, and Lance T is, like, not the, best of people. But Lance H is pretty cool. But yeah, I think, like, at the time, like, Kachua was being used. I don't think that's changed, and see, if I recall correctly, what happens to her is up to you. Yeah, I do remember. Like, it's like, yeah, I do remember that, and her ending can be really, really good or really, really bad, depending on who you ask. If you're someone who wants to eliminate monarchy entirely, I guess it'd be bad no matter what happens, but at any rate, defeated Uram, a wizard out for revenge. The plot thickens right here. Father Clancy was alive, but dying. Before he died, he said that Manafloa did not get exiled. She left when she realized that the queen would make her a slave. She died when Kachua Bersalia was born, and Branta gave Clancy 2 necklaces from the king. And yeah, Kachua is being used. I was right. Dark Knights are using her as a means to open the late king's tomb, searching for treasure. Must be some treasure, I guess. And then the sword is Zenobian, so I don't know what to think there. But yeah, like it's she's being used, and I guess it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Brata is Zome's uncle, and he is from Bakram. Olivia, High Priestess, said so and told him that it didn't matter so long as he believes in justice. Zome agreed. It didn't matter what his race, color, creed was. What mattered is who he was as a person. It turns out that Salier, Olivia, Sistina, and Shelley, were childhood friends of Zome. Shelley sides with Branta, and Sistina is killed. Oh, I should have taken her. That's what I said at that time. I don't know what to think now. This is Morbua, the High Priest, Fahaya. Let's see, I have Chicken Scratch's handwriting. Was the father of the 4 daughters. He's missing, Clancy says, and can help. Clancy has lots of faith in Zome, but he must bear in mind that there are others now fighting someone named Morbua. Something like that. So there's obviously a lot more to this. This is, like I said, it's a very long game. long involved, and so you're only seeing, like, I'd say at that point it'd be about 40%. Yeah, it's a very long game. So obviously I'm gonna have more on this, and with Reborn it's really just wait and see, because there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of like changes are made. So I suspect that once I finally play this game, I just get the impression that everything's different. It's like, well, anyway, that's it for right now. I need a little break, okay? I'll be back with this. See you later. Goodbye.